For more, let's bring in Florida Congresswoman and member of the House Oversight Committee, Paulina Luna. Congresswoman, welcome.
Hey, how are you doing?
Great, great. So I want to get your reaction to the breaking news of the moment, this report from the GAO into the assassination attempt 1 year ago. What's your reaction, particularly to the part where senior-level Secret Service agents received intelligence of a possible threat about 10 days before the assassination attempt?
This type of negligence, in my opinion, is not accidental. It's intentional. As you know, I am actually the chairman of the Declassification of Federal Secrets, and I've investigated one of the most famous assassinations in U.S. history. That's the JFK assassination. And in my opinion, the way that this was handled, not to mention, if you recall, I was actually able to directly interview the Secret Service director when she testified to Congress. And we had whistleblowers that came forward to Senator Hawley's office and stated that Secret Service never even met with local law enforcement. That angle in which the president was shot from was actually left, in my opinion, open. And this reeks of an inside job. You know, I'm going to say it. I will tell you that they had plans for him to be dead, but God had other plans. And President Trump is blessed because of it.
What is your assessment of where things stand in the House Oversight Committee after the Ashley Williams testimony and after President Biden's doctor pled the fifth earlier this week?
It is no question to me that Biden was suffering from some form of cognitive issues. Remember, I was the only member of Congress to go after Merrick Garland and actually try to hold him in inherent contempt for hiding those her tapes. I will tell you that this is just confirmation of something that we knew all along. And I will also tell you that when my district was actually hit by hurricanes, that I was able to then talk to President Biden at the time. But it doesn't mean that he wasn't suffering from issues. And what I will tell you is that this type of thing can't happen again in the future. I do think that there should be some form of cognitive test that should be released to the public for elected officials, not just the president, but for members of Congress, because on both sides, we've had members that have served for too long, sometimes obviously suffering from those issues. And because of the nature of our job, you have to make sure that A, you are able to be there mentally, but also two, that you are able to make decisions. Remember, we have the ability to vote on war, and God forbid this happens sometime again in the future. We can't afford these types of mistakes to happen. Mental decline is a very real thing when you get older in age.
To another hot topic, there's clearly friction between Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino over the handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files. What's your assessment of that? And I think many of us were expecting we would get a lot more details about those files in a public release.
You know, Deputy Director Bongino is an American patriot, and I really hope that he stays the deputy director at the FBI. I think to lose him would be a loss for the entire nation. What I will also tell you, though, is I believe the reason why Americans are so frustrated with this process is because of the way that there has been conflicting information out of the Department of Justice. And so what I'm going to be doing, along with my task force, is requesting information not pertaining to victims, not pertaining to CSAM, that should be out there for the American people to decide. I will say that the way that the administration rolled out the JFK files, of which, by the way, there has been groundbreaking discoveries in those rollouts, is literally the gold standard for declassification. And there is trust in transparency. And so I will encourage them to continue to do that.
The Trump Justice Department is now investigating two people who investigated President Trump, John Brennan and James Comey. What are your expectations in terms of that work?
Well, it appears, and this is something that is not just my opinion, but the opinion of many intelligent investigators, that the way that that whole thing rolled out did indeed reek of a setup. And what I will also tell you is that those people being in such high positions of power, for them to be grossly abusing civil rights of American citizens, they should be held accountable. And I think that there's going to be very serious investigation. And I also believe legal charges against them for what they did to the president. But not just the president. I think that they grossly exploited the system as a whole.
We will follow that. This week, the United States Supreme Court blocked Florida's new immigration law that would make it a crime to enter Florida after entering the country illegally. Are you disappointed with the conservative-led Supreme Court?
I can tell you that I've been disappointed with the Supreme Court on many issues. Ultimately, that's their ruling. But I will tell you this. It is grossly irresponsible for people to continue to encourage illegal immigration. It hurts people on both sides. We just saw a few days ago, you saw there was the ICE raid in California. There were children that were actually working on those farms. But it's not the first time that children have been caught being exploited in massive corporate farming operations. It also happened at Purdue and Tyson chicken farms, where minors were actually caught working in the slaughterhouses. And so it's time that Congress serve as a deterrent and increase the mandatory punishment for some of these corporations that are hiring child migrants. I will also tell you, look, I am the first Mexican-American elected representative from the state of Florida to the House of Representatives. And to think that this whole argument has become, A, focused on race, and B, if you supposedly want border security, you're all of a sudden xenophobic and racist. I condemn that thought, because what I will tell you is that Barack Obama had the very same perspective, yet you're not seeing the name calling and the protesting that's taking place today.
We'll have to leave it there. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, thank you so much for your time today. Great to see you.
Thank you very much.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.